The President of the United States is given a level of protection that is unmatched by anyone else in the world, regardless of who holds the office. This holds even if they're only going for a run. Obviously, it's not possible for the President of the United States to make a snap decision to hop in his car and drive to the grocery store. Safety protocols of the highest standard are in place to guard the President. But what makes this the safest motorcade in the world? And what is the presidential escort made up of? Let's get it on. The motorcade used by the President of the United States is the safest means of transportation. These vehicles are equipped with a variety of safety measures and alternative strategies in case of an emergency. The motorcade is made up of borrowed cars in addition to those that have been custom-made for escort purposes. There are between 16 and 20 limousines at the President's disposal. Even a short trip requires careful preparation and a logistical strategy predicated on the level of danger and the operating environment at each destination. It is not unheard of for the President to travel to 3 separate locations within a single day, and this is especially common during election season. Because of this, it is necessary to send 3 distinct motorcades to each relevant city in advance. To accomplish this goal, the United States Air Force uses heavy transport aircraft such as the C-17 and, in extremely rare instances, a single C-5 Galaxy. But what exactly led to the formation of the presidential motorcade? The need of the motorcade. No convoy is safer, but at the same time appears to be riskier than the one that transports the President of the United States. When comparing the limousines that JFK and Donald Trump rode in, it is evident that the Beast has a substantial number of significantly more advanced safety features. John F. Kennedy was shot and killed in 1963 while traveling through Dallas in a 4-door convertible Lincoln Continental motorcade. The vehicle, which went by the codename Stagecoach, had no shielding or protection against projectiles of any kind and was totally exposed on the roof. The vehicle was promptly taken back to the White House so that it could be examined as part of the inquiry into the assassination of John F. Kennedy. They disassembled the automobile down to the frame and then rebuilt it as an armored vehicle because they believed it would be more cost-effective than beginning from scratch. The most visible change was the addition of a roof that could not be removed and bullet-resistant glass throughout the vehicle. However, they eventually did away with it in favor of a Cadillac limousine that was up to date in every aspect, which we will look at later in the video. They also added several emergency vehicles that eventually made up the presidential motorcade. So how does the presidential motorcade work? The process. There isn't just a straight line of cars waiting to be driven away. Rather, there are weeks and months of preparation. Also, in the motorcade, there are several varieties of cars and other vehicles. The formation is determined by the mission, for example, where they're going, and by the people traveling with the president. This is done for security and to make things less predictable. It is not unusual to observe additional automobiles and vehicles entering and leaving the procession, as well as parking in a variety of different areas. Another fascinating truth is that the president may not even be in any of the presidential cars at the time. Because the Secret Service are experts in security details, it is not necessary to assume that the president is traveling in one of the moving limousines of the White House just because the limos are on the move. But while the president moves, this motorcade can be rearranged to provide him with the highest possible security and operational efficiency. So, which vehicles make up the motorcade? The route car and the pilot car. Because of their unique work, the lead vehicles, the route car and the pilot car, are easily identifiable. According to reports, these cars precede the full parade to perform real-time verification of the path that had been planned. They assist in navigating and are necessary in case of an event and the fleet wants to perform a course correction. They have communication with other members of the motorcade. The route car runs ahead of the fleet by several minutes, while the pilot car, which is in closer communication with the Secret Service and other law enforcement, stays a few seconds ahead of the fleet. The sweepers. Then there are the sweepers, which are typically motorcycles and patrol cars utilized by law enforcement and are positioned at the front of the procession. Their goal is to blast horns and the occasional sirens to clear the way for the motorcade so that it can move at a consistent rate. The president must, after all, arrive on schedule and without experiencing any delays along the way. The sweeper cars are to blame for the traffic gridlock that occurs whenever the president is in town. Although the route and pilot cars come first in the line, the lead car is the operations brain. The route and pilot cars function as the eyes in this scenario, while this vehicle acts as the major means of trip coordination and decision-making throughout the journey. It is so independent in this duty that it can act as a buffer between whatever is up ahead and the cars used by the President of the United States. The Beast. Then comes the presidential limousine, the Beast. This automobile will typically be in the most prominent spot in the motorcade, hidden in the middle of the entire procession. This vehicle was developed for comfort, safety, and the capacity to travel off-road. It is a military-grade SUV in the body of a Cadillac STS. Okay, that's very cool, but there are a few issues to consider here. It is notoriously tough to operate because it resembles an armored assault vehicle than a luxury sedan. It is also significantly more difficult to repair than a typical vehicle. Although there are a few models of this type, the ones now in operation are among the sturdiest and most technologically advanced presidential vehicles ever constructed. The other models act as spares. These automobiles are occasionally kept on hand as a precautionary measure if an accident or a mechanical malfunction occurs. In other contexts, they operate as decoys for the sake of security. A traditional wandering shell game is carried out by the Secret Service drivers of the presidential motorcade. This involves alternating between the beast and the spares so that an attacker has difficulty determining which vehicle is transporting the president. There is also only one set of license plates for all of the limousines used by the president. Halfback security detail for the president. Halfback follows the beast and the spares and are responsible for transporting the Secret Service agents who protect the president. In most cases, you will see a Chevrolet Suburban that has been modified with lights designed with law enforcement light bars in the windshield. This is the president's first line of defense if something goes wrong while traveling. As such, it will employ a carefully thought-out strategy of defensive driving and VIP protection that takes into account a wide range of potential problems. Openly armed Secret Service agents are typically stationed in the back of the vehicle with either the window or the tailgate open. The Watchtower. Electronic countermeasures vehicle. The vehicle actively disrupts communications and remote detonating devices using the large vertical aerials and domes mounted on its top. Shortwave radar may also be utilized in certain configurations to detect incoming projectiles and small unmanned aircraft. There is a possibility that this vehicle, along with others in the motorcade, has laser and radar warning systems installed. Several countermeasures could be taken to thwart an attack if a threat is identified, such as a laser or radar threat. These countermeasures include using infrared smoke, chaff, and targeted jamming. Support vehicles. Support vehicles are typically used to transport high-value personnel such as members of the president's cabinet and their security detail, as well as additional security personnel and the president's doctor. They are referred to as the Hawkeye Renegade. The vehicles are typically black Chevrolet Suburbans or large SUVs modified with police lights. The rear gates of these vehicles are always propped open, and a heavily armed and armored commando can be seen hanging out of the back of the vehicle. The Counter Assault Team, also known as CAT, provides the presidential motorcade with a significant offensive punch in the event of an assault. The number of people allowed to join the Secret Service is extremely low. However, those given the opportunity are outfitted with cutting-edge weapons and protective gear, including assault rifles, night vision goggles, flashbangs, concussion grenades, and even heavy body armor. The CAT is the direct action unit that quickly counterattacks if the convoy is ambushed. Alternatively, it establishes a defensive buffer zone if the convoy is under attack. During this time, the president's security detail would be preparing to whisk him away from harm's way as quickly as possible. The Intelligence Division Car. This vehicle is a hub for big-picture intelligence, relaying information about potential dangers and obstacles along the motorcade's route from watch and surveillance teams, local law enforcement, and other intelligence agencies. The agents riding in this vehicle keep a vigilant eye out for any potential problems that may arise. The Hazards Material Control Unit. This black work truck has sensors that can detect nuclear, biological, or chemical attacks, and equipment that can respond to such an assault. It is also capable of operating as a mobile storage facility, transporting supplies and other capabilities that are top secret. Press vans and ambulance. During the course of the motorcade, the press vans, which are typically large vans, serve the purpose of transporting the White House press group as well as major news organizations. And well, every time the president travels in a motorcade, an ambulance is in close pursuit. Its purpose is to provide medical care during a physical altercation, an accident, or an unanticipated incident. These vehicles are solely for the presidential unit. The rear guard. In most cases, this consists of a line of marked police cars and motorcycles from the local department. It is their responsibility to ensure that the rear of the motorcade remains unharmed by remaining vigilant and maintaining a defensive stance. That's all from this video. What do you think of the level of security provided for the US president? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more of our luxurious content, and why not click on another video showing now? This is The Luxurious. Talk to you in the next video.